Hello, I'm Father Joe Gambala, pastor of St. Malachy Catholic Church in Sterling Heights. Welcome to Saints of the Summer. Today's July 27th. And today we have a number of saints. In fact, they're known as the Seven Sleepers of Ephesus. How? What are these Seven Sleepers of Ephesus about? Well, let me tell you a story that I bet you already all know. The story of Rip Van Winkle. Remember old Rip Van Winkle? He lived in, I believe it was upstate New York in the Catskill Mountains. He grew up and lived there in the time just before the Revolutionary War, when he fell asleep. And he slept for many decades. I don't know exactly how many, but it was quite a few decades. And when he woke up, he had a big, long beard. His clothes were tattered. And he got up and he not sure what happened. He was a little confused. He wandered into the town. The town looked differently. It was a little bit bigger. Walked into the tavern, didn't recognize anybody, ordered a mug of ale, and then decided to do something which was quite common. The last time he had been in the tavern, he stood up and said, a toast to the king. Well, instead of fellow toasts, he was greeted with boos and threats. You see, the Revolutionary War had taken place, and America had been born, and the king's reign had been kicked out. Rip Van Winkle didn't know that, and that's how he realized that, wow, I've been sleeping for a long time. Well, it was a similar story with the Seven Sleepers of Ephesus. It was the year 250, and Decius, a particular evil emperor, decided he needed money to raise a big army and decided to persecute Christians to do it. He would take them and either force them to pay a ransom or tax them, or if they weren't willing to throw some incense on a pagan god, take all their property and sell them into slavery. So he'd get the money from the property and selling the Christian into slavery. Well, these 7 Christians, they were young people, they were teens, 7 teenagers, decided to flee out of the city of Ephesus, at that time a very large town. They went way up into the hills and found a cave. And they blocked the cave with a kind of a stone, and they hid in the cave, hoping that they weren't going to be found. And while they were in the cave, they fell asleep. Well, after many years, they woke up and they pushed the stone aside and they came out and they went out of the cave and they went into a village and they found a building that looked kind of odd to them. It had a cross on top of it. It was a very odd-looking building. The language was a little bit different. They could kind of understand it, but they know the people were dressed a little bit strangely. And what they walked into was a church. You see, in 250, these 7 teens, if they celebrated Mass, it was at someone's home. Christians didn't have their own buildings. But now it was 300 years later. And they walked into a Christian world where the faith was legal and flourishing. Truly Rip Van Winkles of the faith.